Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you'll be listening to a hypnosis session that was created for a client that had a form of body dysmorphia, and in essence, they perceive themselves to be skinny and weak and below the standard that was acceptable for them, even though when challenged, they found many references to discredit those beliefs. And one of the key things that can happen is that if people create beliefs about who they are and what they look like, then it really doesn't matter what changes in reality. The belief system distorts the lens of perception. And that's how you can have someone that's anorexic that looks at themselves in the mirror and sees someone that's too fat. Or you can have an aspiring bodybuilder that to the outside world looks really strong and powerful, but when they look in the mirror, they see someone weak or skinny. So what you're going to hear in this session is the use of a mirror as a symbol, as a metaphor, to challenge beliefs that aren't true and aren't useful and introduce new ideas that create a better relationship with the person and the perception of themselves. But also the consequence of that is a dramatic increase in self-esteem, because the definition of self-esteem is the difference between the ideal self and current self. So if you believe that your current self isn't good enough, it doesn't matter what you see in the mirror, it's never going to be good enough, and therefore will never meet anywhere close to being acceptable. Once you accept yourself and you challenge out-of-date belief systems about who you are, and you introduce such a level of acceptance that you say, well, I am who I am and I like who I am, but I can also improve who I am, then you don't lose the motivation to work on yourself and improve, but you're doing it from the resourceful state of growth and inspiration rather than from the position of anxiety and stress, which tends to be there if you have this belief system of not being good enough. Obviously, this session was created for someone else, so if you're listening to this and at some level you don't like who you are, or you don't accept certain parts of you, or maybe you believe that you're not good enough, or that you're ugly or unattractive or overweight, one of the key things is that even if objectively some of those things may be true, you may be a higher average weight for your size than someone else, the belief systems that you link to that, which quite often are subjective evaluations that aren't true, can really create negative emotions that are very unresourceful and quite often keep people trapped in an undesirable place. So if that sounds like you, there will be a link nearby where you can schedule a free 30-minute consultation call to explore working with me. In the meantime, though, find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in, imagine breathing in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just get a sense that tension or stress is leaving your body in your outward breath. As you breathe in and breathe out, notice that with your eyes closed, you're able to focus on the sound of my voice. The sound of my voice creates meanings. Meanings create emotions. And I'm wondering just how many of those meanings that you have to current belief systems are causing unuseful, unnecessary emotions that are holding you back in some way. I want you to imagine there is an ability to go back in time. The ancient Romans, the ancient Greeks, those Greeks had bathing houses with rejuvenating waters made from minerals, quite often coming from natural springs. And many times, people would spend time in those ancient baths, sometimes with pain, with illnesses, sicknesses, and by spending time in those healing waters, it was miraculous sometimes that they could spend time in the water, and then when they left, they would leave almost as a different version of themselves. If they had a limp, they might be walking okay. If they had rashes on their skin, sometimes those rashes would clear up. And the scientists of those times, many centuries ago, didn't know if it was minerals in the water or just the belief that being in these waters would help. But it didn't matter, because the people that spent time in these waters came out rejuvenated, feeling healthier. And I want you to imagine you can go back in time to these ancient natural waters. Perhaps you can imagine the steam coming off the warm mineral waters, but imagine it's completely private, it's just you in these ancient, luxurious baths. Baths as big as swimming pools. And I want you to notice as you feel your body submerging into the water, you get a sense of what it could have been like back then to experience the healing minerals doing whatever they need to do. And sometimes the minerals were absorbed by the skin that helped some kind of deficiency. But sometimes the saunas that they had back then, or the temperature of the water, enabled toxic substances to leave the body, sometimes through sweat, or sometimes through other means. I want you to get a sense that you're relaxing in these ancient waters. And I want you to get a feeling that your body is being healed. The waters had so much minerals and salts that you can almost imagine floating on the surface of the waters, just like how it is in the Dead Sea. As you continue to breathe in and breathe out, notice that breath by breath, it almost feels like your body's getting stronger and feeling like your body's healing. And then in those waters, imagine that you're about to fall asleep on the surface of the water. As I count down from 5 to 1, you will imagine what it would be like to fall asleep while still bathing on the surface of those healing waters. 5, eyelids getting heavier and heavier and heavier. 4, breathing getting deeper and deeper and deeper. 3, arms and legs getting limp and loose. 2, as you breathe in, even your lungs start to relax. And 1, just imagine falling asleep there on the surface of those waters as you go inwards into your own imagination. And I want you to imagine a room with a large mirror. I want you to imagine seeing yourself in that large full-length mirror just in your imagination. Your body's still out there absorbing the healing minerals of the water. And I want you to imagine seeing yourself, perhaps as you currently see yourself. And think of the associations that you have as you see your body in that full-length mirror. And maybe you see yourself as skinny. And I wonder how many people out there in the world that are overweight or obese or morbidly obese aspire to have a body as slim and lean as yours. So see yourself no longer as skinny. See yourself in the reflection as being lean and slim. And when you see that that's what you see in your reflection, let me know by nodding your head. But I want you to notice that you can also see in that full-length mirror muscle definition of certain key muscles. Doesn't that tell you that there is strength there? There is physical strength in those muscles. The vast majority of the population almost do no exercise on an average week. Exercise might be walking from wherever they park their car to wherever they do some shopping and then come back home and then sit on a sofa. Many people haven't done any exercise, rigorous exercise, since when they were forced to at school. And as you think about the whole population, I want you to realize that you are in the upper percentages of strength. To define yourself as weak or strong is only true if you compare yourself to everybody, not specific people. There will always be someone out there in the world that's stronger. Unless you're the world's strongest man, you're not the strongest. So therefore, by that definition, we're all weak, except we're not. The definition of weak is if you're in the lowest percentages of strength of the whole population. And you know that's not true. So as you see yourself in the mirror, accept 100% that you are strong. And when you accept that to be true, let me know. So as you see yourself in the mirror, you see a lean, strong version of you that is you because it's your reflection. But I also want you to acknowledge that there are certain things that you can't currently change about you. There are certain things that you may never be able to change about you. You have the same genetics. So your eye color is your eye color. Your height is your height. Your skin color is your skin color. And there are certain things that are you. And then there are temporary things that you can accept right now. You can accept the things that you do like. And you can also accept certain things that may be temporary that you don't particularly like right now. There is a big difference between feeling not good enough because not every part of you is perfect, and looking at yourself in the mirror and accepting exactly who you are and where you are right now. And just because you accept yourself doesn't mean you have to stay at that place. There's always room for improvement, growth, progression. And if you're willing to let go of any of these feelings of not being good enough and replace them with a deep conviction that you accept 100% of who you are, let me know by nodding your head. let's see if we can elevate this even higher. I want you to recall a time in your past where your confidence was at its highest. And even back then, there may have been something about you that you didn't like. But the fact that you didn't like that thing didn't mean that you didn't like you as a person. Some people can like themselves and not like an old birthmark or a freckle. And I want you to get a sense that when you look in the mirror, not only do you accept yourself 100%, but that you like who you are at your core. You like yourself and you accept yourself. And too many people fall into the trap that just because they don't like where they are, they stop liking who they are. And that's not necessary. In fact, when you accept who you are and like who you are, you open up the ability to get even better. So if you can see yourself in that mirror and accept yourself and like yourself, just let me know by nodding your head. I then want you to see that version of you in the mirror evolving as to who you have the potential to be. I want you to see you getting healthier and healthier in that reflection. I want you to see you're dressed in clothes that you would link to being the most aspirational version of you. I want you to see behind you in that reflection other people that you look up to, that you feel have the qualities that you also admire. And I want you to notice that as you think of those individuals, isn't it true that they accept themselves and like themselves? But isn't it also true that they improved themselves? They worked on themselves. They had a relentless ethic to get better. But it was necessary that they liked themselves and accepted themselves in order to get better. And I want you to see that evolving version of you take some of those qualities of confidence, certainty, but also a deep belief in your potential. See you dressing in a similar way, standing in a certain way that gives you a sense that this is a confident, assertive, healthy version of you. And we don't know if this version of you is 3 months in the future, 6 months, 12 months, or even 5 years. But I want you to see yourself with what you would consider to be an ideal partner. It doesn't have to be someone in particular, but more what they represent, their personality, how they come across, the qualities. And I want you to see that evolved version of you with someone aspirational that you would want to be with. And again, notice that it wasn't a requirement that you became that person, but it was a requirement that you accepted yourself and you liked yourself. There is a principle in the universe known as the law of the lid. I want you to think of a jar filled with perhaps milk or water with a lid on the top. And you can't pour any more liquid from that jar than exists already in the jar. I want you to think of an incompetent teacher that doesn't know very much. A clueless teacher can't teach more to the students than they already know themselves. And if you don't accept yourself and don't like yourself, you are putting a lid on your potential too low. You can't love anyone else more than you already love yourself. You won't attract anyone of more confidence than the confidence that already exists within you. So as your acceptance grows, your confidence grows. As your confidence grows, I want you to get a sense that you like yourself even more than you did before, and you already liked yourself. And in the end, it will be these qualities that are attractive to you, not your body shape or your clothes, but the qualities that you acquire by accepting yourself and working on yourself and asking yourself the question, what kind of person do I need to be to attract the person I want to be with? And that becomes the roadmap. Not the only one, of course, but a roadmap to create a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because as you become that person, your belief that you can attract someone of equal value, equal standards, equal qualities becomes a foregone conclusion, that it just happens in that way. You will let go of any ideas of not being good enough, any ideas that you're not big enough, strong enough. All these ideas go away. You can accept yourself and like yourself and still want to be stronger, but not feel that you need to be stronger. You accept yourself 100%. You like who you are. You would want to spend time hanging out with someone like you. But liking yourself and accepting yourself also means that you have to take full responsibility for what's good, but also what isn't good in your life. Which comes with it a requirement to make tough decisions, to let go of that which isn't serving you, and to embrace those qualities that help move your life in the very direction that you want to take it. You are growing, you are evolving, and you're getting healthier and healthier. I want you to now step into that version of you see in the mirror that has that health, has those qualities that you aspire to have. Feel how good it feels to be this future version of yourself, and know that you didn't need to be perfect to get there. You just needed to believe in yourself and be consistent in certain key areas of your life. And then imagine returning to that version of you that is fast asleep on the surface of the water in an ancient Roman bath, feeling rejuvenated, healthy, and relaxed. And realize that as you leave that bath, you do indeed feel healthier. That you feel that certain things that aren't good for you are leaving your body and more useful things are being extracted into your body. And as you leave that place, you return to the present, realizing that these are all just thoughts within thoughts, ideas within ideas, dreams within dreams, and actually, you are now listening to my voice firmly in the present. And very soon I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken, however, with the feeling of improved health and well-being, having let go of those beliefs that were holding you back, and with a new belief that you like yourself and accept yourself and trust in your ability to get healthier and happier and more confident. Returning to the present on the count of 10. Starting to count 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.